All right, now we're going to learn from the speech of the Rebbe. Amazing, incredible speech. Incredible. I mean, all the speeches of the Rebbe are incredible, but this is even more so. This speech was given to what's called the Shluchim, and it was the last speech that the Rebbe gave to the Shluchim. Okay, what is the Shluchim? What are the Shluchim? Okay, the whole thing of Chabad is to bring Mashiach. In order to bring, the whole thing of Judaism is to bring Mashiach. In order to bring Mashiach, you have to awaken every single Jew in an individual way. This is not like a dictatorship where you force everybody to toe the line and to be on the track, and anybody who doesn't just gets left out. Every single Jew has to be aroused to be himself, herself, himself. But in order to do this, is very, very painstaking, individual. How do you call it? One-on-one work. One-on-one work, because everybody's special and everyone is different, and every single Jew has a gift to give to the world, a tremendous responsibility to make the world a better place, to bless the world, but each one in his own individual way. But for a person to reveal this in himself is not easy. The world is very, very tricky and very positive, powerful, and etc. So to this end, the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe, he began, I mean, it was really done a long time, the Baal Shem Tov did also, but to make Shluchim, to make emissaries, messengers. And especially the previous Rebbe began it, he sent people to Morocco and to other places, but this Rebbe, as the continuer, carrying on what the previous Rebbe began, the Rebbe said many, many, many times that the previous Rebbe is the Mashiach of our generation. He's the Mashiach. That every Rebbe of Chabad is the Mashiach of his generation. And the previous Rebbe really started off, he broke the ice in a big way, and he sent out emissaries, and the emissaries have tremendous, they're as devoted to the goal of perfecting the world as the Rebbe is. And that's their job, that's the emissaries. So once a year, these emissaries, these what's called Shluchim, they all get together and in a big convention. And this was the last, and the Rebbe would speak to them, all of them. This is the last time the Rebbe spoke to all of the Shluchim. It was in 1992. There he spoke. So the Rebbe undoubtedly knew that what was going to happen. I mean, the Rebbe had a stroke just a couple months later, and that rendered him paralyzed, half of his body, maybe more. And part of it was that he couldn't speak. The Rebbe could not speak. It was a terrible tragedy, terrible this, awful, terrible suffering. But the Rebbe still led. He would shake his head yes and no. They asked him questions. He did amazing miracles in those times. But nevertheless, speaking, he couldn't speak. And writing, he couldn't write. That was like for a year and a half, something like that. And then after that, had another stroke, and then after that, he passed. Okay. And so the Rebbe obviously knew what was going to happen. So these are, so to speak, the last words that the Rebbe spoke until Mashiach comes, raises all the dead, and everybody will be happy. So here we have the parting instructions. Famous, what is it, General MacArthur or something? When the soldiers of, where was it, Iwo Jima? I don't remember. Anyway, I shall return. No, it wasn't Iwo Jima. It was some other place. Anyway, I shall return. Guam or something. Look up history. I'm weak in history. I shall return. But nevertheless, he left them with orders what to do in order to continue bringing the Mashiach. And here it is. Here we got it. This is it. Now, especially you have to understand, these people that the Rebbe is speaking to, these are his emissaries. These people are really, tremendously self-sacrificing, a lot of them, and they go with their families. It's not that they just go once in a while, like a soldier. He goes out to war, But he leaves his family behind. What's his family going to go with it, out and be on the front over in Normandy or someplace? No. But here they take their whole family with them, with the children. Now, in Judaism, there's nothing more important in Judaism than education. Education is the foremost importance in Judaism. That's why God gave the Torah. The Torah is to educate us. Very, very rarely will you find a Jew that is illiterate, that can't read. Very rare. And you'll never find it in religious people, unless the child has a problem, reading problem. Sometimes people have reading problems that they have dyslexia, whatever it is. And even then, very rare. I can't imagine that there is any case. Education is foremost important by the Jewish people in general, and in Judaism especially. Education. So these people have to go far away to weird, bizarre places where there's no Jews there. There's no kosher food. There's no anything. So kosher food they could have sent to them, but how do you educate their children? Right. So this is a tremendous self-sacrifice. Nowadays they educate the children with Zoom. They have classes on, right, that the children learn by internet. But back then there was the internet they didn't have. Right. They barely, back then they had the fax machines, what it was. So 30 years ago this is. So the Rebbe is now instructing his emissaries. Ready? Here we go. One of the points is going to be, I'm going to sort of reveal a little bit to you, is the Rebbe is going to say, the work is finished. And everyone is now an emissary to bring Mashiach. That's what the Rebbe is going to say. You think that the Rebbe would say something like, okay, we're just beginning our work and it's all in front of it. You can do it. Only you can do it. Only you can do it. What did the Rebbe say? It's all done. It's all finished. Now we just have to accept the face of Mashiach, and everyone is a shlich. Not just you are the shluchim. Everyone is. What type of a thing to say is that? But that's what the Rebbe said. We'll see. Let's go. Let's look. Let's have a look and see. Anyway, the point is that you and me are shluchim. Everyone that's reading this, that wants to be, is an emissary of the Lubavitcher Rebbe. And you'll see what you have to do. Ready? Here we go. Now that we are standing in the beginning and the opening of the Knesset Shluchim, of the convention of the Shluchim, the world convention. These are the emissaries of the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe. Like I said, the Rebbe always considered himself just to be a continuation of the previous Rebbe. In the whole entire world, in the four directions of the world, we have to remind, the first thing, at the Yesod, the foundation, and to again express at the Tafkid Shel Shluchim, the whole purpose of the Shluchim, B'Doreinu Zeh, in our generation, especially, in general, Ubimyuchan, and especially Chirush Shenosef, which is now in the last times, in the work of Shlichus. What is the purpose of the Shluchim? What is the purpose of Chabad? And you are the emissaries of Chabad, L'kabel Pnei Mashiach Tzidkenu, to receive the face of the Mashiach, B'geula Mitit V'Shlema, in the total and true redemption. The whole purpose of all of you Shluchim, the Rebbe is standing and saying, the whole purpose, the only reason you're here, and the reason you're going to leave here, is in order to receive the face of the Mashiach. In other words, to make Mashiach come actually, in the Geula Mitit Shlema, and the true redemption. Like we said many times, including our shared point, in general, every Jew is a shliach, is an emissary of God, right? God sent us here. God keeps us here, every single Jew, and God keeps us here with a responsibility. We're not just here to eat and to sleep and to make money. Eating, sleeping, and making money is okay, but that's not why we're here. We're eating and we're sleeping and making money for something. To be the emissaries of God to fix up the world. Like it says, Ani nivresi l'shamish koni. I was created to serve my master. What's the end of the Kedushin? I was created in order to serve God. That's why everyone is being created. God's creating us all the time. And especially and especially the Shluchim of the previous Rebbe, of the Rebbe, there's a common theme which runs through all time, and it increases from time to time. We have a special purpose for our job while we're here, that this permeates the Yeshar, and this is the gate through which everything goes. All of the matters of Shlichus, how much more so in our case, Chirush Kloli Vikri, the main one, She'enu Rak Prat, it's not just a detail in what you are all doing, you Shluchim that have gone to the ends of the world with tremendous self-sacrifice. I'm not just giving you another little detail. It is a thing which is essential and general to the most general thing of Judaism, preparation for the coming of the Mashiach. Which this encompasses all of the points and the details of Shluchim. And the purpose why Chabad is here in the world, and really why every Jew is here in the world, preparing the world for the coming of the Mashiach. And that time, my wife, she had a big advertising agency. She made she had an idea, and this became a very popular, what do they call it? A road sign, what do they call it? The billboard. And Hikanu Labiyat Mashiach. That's what it says. There was a picture of a son raising up Hikanu. That's my wife made that. It was dubbed, I think, to this very day, the most popular billboard in the history of Israeli advertising. Huge. They had a big, huge one. Prepared for the coming of Mashiach. It was really inspiring to see. Right in the middle of Ramat Gan, over in the diamond. A diamond, what is it called? Diamond Bursa, what's it called? Like the Diamond Wall Street over here. This huge, immense sign, prepare for the coming of the Mashiach, because of this speech the Rebbe gave. So that's the whole purpose of Chabad, to bring Mashiach. And that's the gate, and that's the way, and that's the theme of Chabad, Mashiach, only to bring Mashiach. As we have spoken many times, and especially in the last months and weeks, according to the announcement of the rabbis, that it's in the Gemara, especially in the Gemara in Sanhedrin, shekavar kolo kitzim, that there are all these projected times when Mashiach was supposed to come. Back then, at the time of the Gemara, which this is like 1,600 years ago, when so one of the rabbis said, all of the times, projected times of Mashiach have already finished. If the Mashiach comes right now, if Mashiach comes today, he's already 1,600 years late. So any second that should happen. But does cover Kadushas Morichami, Nasi Darenu, Shekavar Asu Tshuva, that everyone has already returned to the Creator. The quantum mass of Jews has already turned their eyes to the Creator of the universe, to the giver of the Torah. Until everything practically, in general, everything is already finished. Even to shine up the buttons on our parade uniforms. And we stand prepared to accept the face of the Mashiach. Our whole service, the only reason, now the Rebbe is speaking to all these Shluchim, right? He's sending them out. This is his last words to them. The whole purpose is liot muchanim, to be prepared, bepoil, actually, lekabbalat penei Mashiach tzikenu, to receive the Mashiach bepoil mamash, actually. Mizeh, move, and so it's understood. Shebezeh mitbatet matara. This is the whole purpose of the Kinnus Shluchim, of the Kenes, of this convention, of the Shluchim Olami, of the world convention of the emissaries of Chabad, lead daber biyachad, to speak together, uletzeit bachlatot, and come out with some sort of decisions, ha'al manat, in order l'kayim b'pol, to do them actually, how to do what you're sent to do, how to fulfill your special mission, to accept the face of Mashiach, how to prepare the world for accepting Mashiach. This is what the Rebbe said 30 years ago. Let's explain what is the connection between the serving of the Shluchim, of these emissaries, to the Mashiach. Says Rebbe, I want to explain this to you. Usually, what's everybody thinking? What does a shliach have to do? And what does a shliach have to do? He goes to a place, he has to find a place to live. He has to find a place to make his Chabad house. He has to find money. He has to provide an income for himself that he can feed his family, and that he also can pay the rent or buy the building of the Chabad house. Usually it's in a place where there's not religious Jews. There are Jews, but that's why the Chabad Shaliach went there. So now he has to start to inspire them to reveal their Jewish soul, to come close to Torah, to come to and of course, he's not alone. God is doing it. God wants every Jew to be a Jew. So that it's already inside of every Jew, that every Jew already wants to do all the commandments. Every Jew just doesn't know it. And every Jew wants to do what's written in the Torah. Every Jew, without exception. Even the Jews that change their religions, and Jews that are totally confused, and the Jews that are, professors in atheism or whatever they are. And deep down inside, they want to do Torah and the commandments. Every Jew, that's what Chabad is based on. That's what Judaism is based on. Mashiach will wake this up in a general way. The Rebbe is the Mashiach. The Rebbe is waking it up in every single Jew. But you also have to wake up the emissaries. That's why he sent out these emissaries. You have to wake them up also. So the Rebbe says, now I want to explain this whole thing. Mashiach is not just another detail, right? You went on shlichus, you have to have money. You have to have a place. You have to make connections with people. You have to make good impression. You're going to open up schools for children. You have to convince the parents to bring their children. You have to know how to organize things. There's no schools in Chabad to teach these shluchim before they go out how to deal with people, what are the basic principles of economics, of politics, to understand each and every place, what the customs are, right, how to run a business, how to pay taxes. They don't know any of these things. They're just sent to do what the Rebbe says, and everything just works out. Says the Rebbe says, but you should know, even though you have all these very important things about finding a house and making an impression on people and getting your school together and everything, but the main purpose is to bring Mashiach. It's not just another detail. It's not the cherry on top of the cake. The whole entire business that you're doing is only to bring Mashiach. That's it, the whole thing. If that's not your purpose, forget the whole thing. You live a good life, open up a business, live a nice, buy a big house. And now let's explain, what is this idea? I'm sending you to be a shliach, and you're going to have to make a good impression on people, and you're going to have to convince people. And this, what's the connection with Mashiach? Let God take care of Mashiach. You know what? That's a good idea. I'll just go out and I'll make an impression on people, and I'll especially the donors. The donors are of prime importance. I'll make a good impression on people and the donors and etc. And Mashiach, God will take care of that. Says the Rebbe, no. Don't think. Of course, God's going to take care of. Of course, God takes care of everything. What's the question? But what do you suppose? That's God. He'll take care of. He'll do his thing. But you have to do your thing. What's your thing? Your thing is the main thing in your life has to be bringing Mashiach. That's the main thing. That's the whole purpose, the reason why you're out there being a shliach. To understand what is the connection between being a shliach and bringing Mashiach. What's the purpose between the two of them? What's the connection? Like I said, why not shliach is one thing and Mashiach? Being a shliach, going and making a Chabad house and making it popular and succeed, that's our business. And bringing Mashiach, that's God's business. Says the Rebbe, no, bringing Mashiach is your business. You have to make the world ready for accepting Mashiach. In order to do this, we can understand Basbar Sheikhos, the connection with Mashiach himself, with the whole idea of being a shliach. And it says, Shlach Nabiyat Tishlach. There's a sentence where Moses is on the, God is convincing Moses on the burning bush to go and take the Jewish people out. So Moses says, come on, God, I don't want to do it. I can't speak very well, and who am I anyway? I'm just a shepherd. So finally, God says, okay, He gives him all sorts of. But as God says, 7 days, God tries to convince him. Lo et mol lo shilshom. He learns out 7 days by the burning bush. God doesn't let Moses eat. I don't know, maybe he took a lunch break or something. But didn't. He tried to convince him by the burning bush, go take the Jewish people out. And Moses is saying, I can't do it. I'm not going to be able to do it. You got the wrong man. You have the wrong address. It's not me. I can't even speak properly. He had this speech impediment, Moshe Rabbeinu, and he's stammering and stumbling. And God says you have to do it. And finally, after God gives him all these secrets and everything, and he says, "Shalach na biyad tishalach." God, send whoever you want. Send somebody else, and don't send me. Shomer Moshe, God said to Moshe Kodesh Baruch Hu, Moshe Shalchu, God sent him to take the Jewish people out of Egypt. The rabbis say, Omer Moshe Mlefanav, that Moshe said in front of God, Rabbonu Shalom, Shalach Nabiyat Tishalach, send now, right, in the hand of one that you're going to send. What does that mean? Send through the one that you're going to send, in the Mashiach. Shuatid Lagalot. Why are you sending me to take the Jews out of Egypt? And then 3,000 years down the line, you're going to send Mashiach again. Send Mashiach right now. Why do you have to do it in gradual? You're going to do a big miracle. You're going to take the Jews out of Egypt. So why send me? Send the Mashiach. Mashiach has to come from Ben David. He has to come from the tribe of Yehuda. I come from the tribe of Levi. I'm from Levi. I'm not from the Yehuda. Send Mashiach. Mashiach, he'll do a general thing. He'll change the whole world. I hope he's there. According to this, Yeshlo the Mashiach, Yeshlo a Geresh HaShliach. If so, Moses said, send the one you're going to send. Send another emissary. Mashiach is an emissary. According to the Torah, Mashiach is the shliach. Shalach tishalach. Mashiach is just an emissary of God to go'al, to redeem the Jewish people, to save the Jews. Hatam b'pashas, the simple reason is, Shemoshe bikesh zos. Why did Moses request this? Like Pirush Rashi, like Rashi says on the pasuk, biyad acher shetitratzel lishlach. Send somebody else that you want to send. She'ein sofi lachdisa, because in the end, I'm not going to bring them into the land of Israel even. I'm not going to gather them. Mashiach is the one who's going to gather all the Jews and bring them to the land of Israel. Yeshlucha Shluchim arba. You have a lot of emissaries. Why me? Hoyol balav hachi. Since in any case, lo yishlach HaKadosh Baruch Hu es Moshe. Since Moshe said, since you're not sending me lachdisam le'eretz to bring them into the land of Israel and to be the final redemption. If so, send somebody else, Mashiach. And the Mashiach, Yishlach et Mashiach, and he will redeem the Jews from Egypt. Right? This is the burning bush before Moses took the Jews out of Egypt. But we have to understand, if you would have sent Mashiach, then Mashiach is also going to eradicate idolatry and things like that, right? Mashiach is going to save us from the missionaries, from all these other evil powers that are trying to destroy Judaism. And he's going to take away from the atheists, from the communists, from the who knows what, the libertines, and all the things that you shouldn't be talking about in this class. Mashiach is going to save us from all the inner things, from depression and from aggression, from the addictions. He's going to save us from all these idolatries, all these things. So Moshe Rabbeinu took them out of Egypt. He's going to take them out of Egypt. Immediately they're going to serve the golden calf. They're not going to want to go into Israel. Moses is going to die before they go into Israel. And Moshe says, listen, just clean the whole thing out right now, God. Send Mashiach, and that's it. Why do you have to send me? So Moses is saying, good, I'm your emissary, God, but choose a better emissary. Choose Mashiach. We have to understand, Moshe understood, Moses, it says that Moses was the ultimate wholesomeness, completeness of awareness of God. Moshe Kibul Torah Misina. That's why nobody else could go on Mount Sinai. Only he could go. All the other Jews, even the highest, greatest Jews, they heard God speak on Mount Sinai. After the first two words, it says the words, that the first two commandments, where their souls jumped out of their bodies. God had to keep enlivening them. There was no one like Moshe. Shekodesh Baruch Hu, that God himself, Yada, he knew. God knew he was going to send the Mashiach, not Moshe, to redeem the Jewish people. Nevertheless, God himself chose Moshe like a shliach to redeem the Jewish people from Egypt. If so, how could what did Moses really think God made a mistake? Moshe, there was the ultimate awareness of what God was. Therefore, he could speak to God face to face 40 days. And the 40 days, it ended up being 120 days. You went up 3 times on Mount Sinai. Who could do a thing like that? Nobody else could even take a second of God's revelation. Moses was such a holy person. He knew what was going on. He really thought God made a mistake here. That he said, don't send me to take the Jewish people out. Send Mashiach. How could Moses? But Moses made such a mistake like that. On the other hand, since then Moshe. Since Moshe, who was the ultimate level of holy awareness of God, because he requested this, so it must be that according to the holiness of the holiest understanding, complete. If so, it must be that Moses was right. Why didn't God accept what he had to say? Maybe we can say that this is it. This is exactly the reason. Because that this is a request of Moshe and is brought in the Torah, and the Torah is eternal and the Torah is true. So if so, we have to say that the request of Moses was fulfilled. Et oto shliach, shekodesh baruch hu shlach, that the same shliach that God sent to redeem the Jewish people from Egypt, Moshe, he himself is the shliach that he's going to send in the future, Moshiach ben David. Moshe, it says that Moshe, hu goel rishon, hu goel achron. It says that Moses is the first redeemer, and he is going to be the last redeemer. How can that be? Like we said, the future redeemers come from the tribe of Judah, Yehuda, directly from King David. And Moshe was from Levi. That's what Moshe said. But nevertheless, Moses did receive his request. This was the intention of Moshe when he said, send the one who you will send. Even though that he knew that God was aware that he was going to send the Mashiach. Nevertheless, Moshe said, why did Moshe say, don't send me, send Mashiach? He didn't mean that. He meant, don't send just me, but when you're sending me, also in what you're sending me for should also be Mashiach. The kasher, to attach the first redemption with the last redemption. That also the first redemption, leaving Egypt, will be attached. It'll be a connection and giving power to Mashiach. Also, the last redemption will be attached also to Moshe. We're going to see how this works out. Koloma, that even though that Moshe and the Mashiach are two different people, Moshe comes from the tribe of Levi, and Mashiach comes from the tribe of Yehuda, of David. Nevertheless, and it seems that they're two separate topics. One is to take the Jews out from bad, and the other one is just purely to bring them to good. Nevertheless, they are attached and united one with the other. Both of them are shluchim, and both of them are for the Jewish people, and there's something even greater that both of them are accomplishing, Moses and the Mashiach, and we're going to see what this is, God willing, in the next few days. Let's just do the Yom Yom. There we go. Here we go. Husband. Okay, no, this is in the book Torah order that we learn in the morning. So sometimes there are mistakes in the printing, and here it just corrects those mistakes in the printing. Let's do yesterday's. Last time we got confused. I don't know exactly what happened. Here we go. Time must be guarded. This is yesterday's. It is very important to accept the yoke of the Torah. Every instant of time, every day that passes is not just a day, but a whole life. Days go by, like the Talmud says, a day goes in and a day goes out, a week goes in and a month goes in, etc. Like the previous Rebbe said, my father quoted the Alter Rebbe, a summer day and a winter night, summer days are long, and a winter nights are long, are a year. In other words, every moment is filled with meaning, opportunity, and blessing. Don't let the moments go by empty. Have a good day with Moshiach. Now, God willing, 3 o'clock, we're learning Chumash with explanation. The story of Abraham buying a grave, Marat HaMachpelah, for his wife. Have a good day with Moshiach now.